Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bagadon, a stock market caddy. Today is Sunday. We're a little late here. We wanted to punch up earlier. We're going to go ahead and trade silver. We got some really nice now two-way volatility, and we wanted that fever to break. It was just kind of one directional. We're now trading it long and short. A micro contract. We're over $5,000 up today, just tonight. I haven't scalped. I haven't just printing money. A beautiful thing. The trading robot is running on a point and figure. We used our tool, the brick size calculator, to tell us what size brick we should be running. It's doing great. We're going to let you watch. Any questions, let us know. We can slide over and take a peek at the other markets. And let's just, oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Because Susie and Dawn are short these markets. We absolutely are. And so this is beautiful trading here, folks. Really, really nice. This is a micro contract. The initial margin is $9,700. $9,700. That's it. Maintenance is around $8,000. Look at this thing. We're to the good $6,000, kids. Phenomenal.
Order filled.
Very, very good, folks. And we were just in the background. We're getting started. You know, I love listening to Asian Guy talk about the silver and gold market. I love listening to Peter Schiff talk about silver and gold and commodities and the markets. I absolutely do. I love listening to them, but I don't trade on anything. Nothing. Zip. None. Nada. Could care less. This is a 1 micro contract on silver. It's the only way that I would trade this, right? Up, down, all over the place. They're going to be so confused by the end of the week, they're not going to know whether to scratch their watch or wind their ass. But we're built for this. This is what we do. We have realized since 6 p.m., 6,939. We're ready when you are. We're going to let you watch. Any questions, let us know. Phenomenal trading. The brick size came from the brick size calculator. We have a special tool to give us the brick size. Any annual member that might be passing by and wants to know our brick size, just send me an email, send me a text. Happy to tell you, but you also have it on your brick size calculator.
Order filled.
We could be scalping. I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to let the machine take everything for right now. It's doing too well. We're plus $7,000 since 6 p.m. I could take the rest of the week off, go fishing, go golfing. I don't think I want to do that. A little too cold to go golfing. This is a micro silver contract. SILH 26. SILH micro. If there's anyone passing by or through for the first time and you're wondering who we are, I have some videos made to punch up. I will get those punched up here in a moment. We're also broadcasting this live on our marketing website, which is a first, right? So you get a chance to see it. If you're coming through on YouTube, put YouTube into a high def setting. You might expand your screen. I wouldn't try to mimic the trades, right? We're just trying to show you what's possible real time. Now there is about a 3 or 4 millisecond delay because of YouTube. We have sped that up though, and the image is as good as we can get it for YouTube. These tools can be on your desktop, right? Absolutely can be on your desktop. And we thought, you know what? Let's get in here and trade this silver, and let's do it with a micro. We got really good two-way action now. The market is confused. There's shit, and we love that confusion, right? We love that. That way we can play it. We'll play it both ways. When a market's just going straight up, I mean, that's fine for the investor. That's fine for, but we love the two-way action. So I haven't intervened once, not once. And this thing is doing a really, really nice job.
Order filled.
And she just changed gears again. Now, if she gets really, really tight, but I think the spread, the volatility is going to be really, really good, right? And we love that, right? So I think we'll be in really good shape to let her keep running. Once again, I'm Bagged On at Stock Market Caddy. I'm not a broker. I'm not a financial, guy. I'm not Asian guy. One of the AI guys. We're not here 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. We've been here a long time. We were here long before Twitter. We don't really advertise a whole lot. We've experimented a little bit with some ads on YouTube, just a little bit, just to create some awareness. But don't hesitate to call us. Don't hesitate to send us an email. This is just one view of. And by the way, we're not trading Swing Machine, the 5-minute. Nope, we're going with point and figure, and there are reasons for that. And it's just going to be really fast in prices. When we get high volatility, they're moving up and down. They may not be able to establish even intraday or intra-evening the trends. And point and figure is going to do a really, really beautiful job for us, we think. And there it is. So
Order filled.
There's another profit. I can tell you. Let me give you some information. Let's see here. Bear with me. What we have done. Let me see if I can get a report on this. What we've done here tonight. Yeah, there it is. We're running a profit factor of 4.24. 4.24. We're making $4.24 for every dollar we're expending. That's really good. The total number of trades 11, and percent profitable 63%. So that's really really nice action. Keep those numbers in mind. What is the performance report on this? What are we? Let's see. Can I get over here? Let me see if I can get it open. Where is it here? Here it is. Here, performance report. So
Order filled.
let's see here. This is the performance report over the last few months. Profit factor is telling us 1.24. We'd be happy with 1.24 for a machine. This is what it would have done for us. This is balls to the wall accurate. Balls to the wall accurate. This is running 24/7. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's what we're going to do the next couple of months, but that's what it's been doing, and it's doing very very good tonight. And here are the number of trades that were 1380, only 37% profitable. So that's okay, and that's what we're looking for. Here is the performance graph. Look at the performance graph. Now these are some big drawdowns here, right? This is not, but look at what it's doing with the increased volatility. This is what we want. This is what we're after. So as long as we're performing in line with the, what did I just do here? There it is. I just closed that down. As long as we're performing in line with the model, and as long as we're profitable, we'll keep running. And that's the plan.
Filled.
Okay, so she took a little loss there. These tools here, I'm not printing this. This is a program. These are our proprietary tools here. This is the point and figure golf ball. This is the point and figure trend caddy. This is the point and figure posture caddy. I don't have the brick size up, and I don't have the divergent indicator in here either. But we're just getting into a little bit of chop here, so we might be pausing here. Now remember, there are 24 trading days in a month. 24 trading days. We take Fridays off, we're down to 20. So if you can do $100 a day, I'm kind of laughing, $100 a day, that's $2,000 a month. You start putting together, just 15 to 20
Order filled.
20 sessions, and you just got to build. You got to build out slow. But this is not a mini contract on silver. This is a micro contract. $9,000 in initial margin, about $8,000 in maintenance. That's how volatile this crap is, which is great. And I do find it interesting, the whole gold silver thing. Now on a daily basis, Swing Machine was long, silver. I could punch it up, but it's been long for months, But you can see here tonight, even on the 5-minute on swing, she would be down pretty hard because she's violently moving up and down and up after the big, 30% decline on Friday. Those of you that are listening to us on our live sessions on Wednesday and Thursday, maybe even as early as Tuesday, we said to everybody that was within earshot of us, if you had profits, long silver, whether you were in futures contracts, options, whether you were using the SLV, which many retail traders use, we said that it might be prudent to do some trimming, because what happens is, and we made a video of this and we show you on point and figure, when you get 6 or more buy signals on a point and figure chart and you're flying up and you're doing the Jack and the Beanstalk, it's great. I know everyone wants a game stunk. Nobody wants it to come back. But what happens is when the momentum gets that strong in one direction, nobody shorts, including us. We're like, don't even short it for minutes. Don't even bother. Just don't even do it. So then what happens is nobody's short. Everybody's long. And then the first moment She pulls back in a meaningful way. Namely, she broke that support level on Friday at 95, and that was it. And then she was all the way back down to 75. Took away trillions of dollars. And so it wasn't a function of people being short. It was a function of not having any shorts and everybody being on one side. That's why, and the retail trader may not understand this. We try to explain this. Markets need people like me, like you, like active traders. They need active traders going one side, going the other, because we provide the liquidity and keep the markets pretty much in range without these ginormous run-ups or these ginormous crashes. It's when a market gets totally on one side that, especially on the long side, that you wind up crashing. Does that make sense? And the asset gatherers, and I'm not an asset gatherer because we're not managing your money. I'm not interested in managing your money. I don't need that. I mean, we're all about teaching you to trade your own game. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, God, I had it. I was watching something. But I lost my train of thought. It happens. It'll come back to me. But we're all about teaching you how to trade your own game, basically, right? So we are students of the market. I do find the economic discussions and the political discussions and everything else interesting, but I don't trade off of any of that, right? None of that. And so if you got any questions about who we are, what we're about, don't hesitate. I don't even know if there's anybody here. I could be talking to myself. That's okay. I do that quite a bit. They say it's healthy. Boy, those grids really show up a lot, don't they there? I don't like that. See those grid marks? They're really showing up. So let me get rid of those grids. Let me go to the window. And let's go here to color. And let's get rid of that. I don't know why those grids. That should get rid of them, I think. Let's see. Does that get rid of them? There they go. I think that will look a little better. So we come at this, I've tried to describe this any number of ways. My ultrasound. He says, I'm here. Okay, because I wasn't sure if I was by myself. This is how we look at it, right? This is, now,
Order filled.
Okay, there was a nice trade. And I did not do that, right? The machine's doing this, right? The machine is, TradeStation enables you to do this. A lot of your brokerages won't allow you to do this. No, no. But so this is a beautiful thing, and if you're working, you could set some programs, to protect yourself. It would have been nice to get out of SLV on Friday when she broke 95, right? Because we could see that. We made a little video too earlier today. If you haven't seen it yet, you might want to. This is where we come down on this. Why don't the narratives matter to us? They don't, because if you are honest with yourself, and I try to be honest with myself, I can make a thesis for just about anything for the price to go up. I can also make a thesis for the price to go down. You just can do it. And therein lies. And then you get into the probabilities of your thesis, right? And then you get wedded to your thesis, and then you're trying to be right. And especially if you're an asset gatherer, where you're managing other people's money, and people want to perceive you as being smart, having an edge, you're a really smart guy, you're a boutique broker, yada yada. That's not me, right? That isn't me. I am the dumbest guy here. Tonight, I am the dumbest guy in the market. I will arm wrestle you for that right. But this is where I come at this. When you get on an airplane, I can't think of it any other way. You get on an airplane, just like when you buy a stock, and you go from one destination to another, and it's a beautiful ride, and you get to where you want to go, and you have a good time, right? So when you buy a stock, you get a good ride, no problem. When you're flying, you're not asking how in the world, you're not thinking about, what the pilots are doing. You're not thinking about what the mechanics are doing. You're not thinking about how and why the plane is flying. You're not. You're just doing it. And most people, they really, after they buy a stock, they just want to make some money. They really don't think about it. As soon as the plane hits some turbulence, you start thinking about it, right? And you start, kind of like, I hope it gets to where I want it to go, right? And I do too, right? God forbid. I never want to be on one of those planes. I don't want you ever on one of those planes. But it's really kind of out of your hands. When you own a stock, when you own a commodity, it isn't out of your hands. It is in your hands. It is. Now, most of the time, everything will be okay. But sometimes, things crash, right? And that plane can come down, and you see YouTube videos of this all the time. You see a plane that comes in, belly lands, goes over into the grassy area, and the plane is on fire. God forbid, I hope to God, I'm not ever on one of those. You're never on any of those. No one I know is ever out on one of those.
Order filled.
Okay, so there was another winning trade. The machine just took out. The machine's been trading since 6 p.m. 1 micro silver. We're up 7,810. The initial margin is 9,000. The maintenance margin is about 8,000, give or take. I can tell you exactly here in a moment, but I haven't scalped a one. I could scalp if I wanted to. You could be scalping if you wanted to. Now, I'm not suggesting you try to shadow any of these, right? It's not why we're doing it. But what you see on those YouTube videos, you see people getting off the plane with their shit. Meaning they took the time while the plane had belly landed and is burning, and they take the time to get up into their overhead and grab their stuff, their shit. It'd be just my luck, that I got a plane full of those people. I'm not going to be one of them. I'm going to get my fat little fanny off that plane just as fast as I can down the chute and run for the hills, right, for safety. But they don't. They grab their stuff. They want their stuff. So whether you have tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, or billions of dollars, you are no different than anybody else. People want their stuff, their value. They don't like losing value. Now, maybe when you get to be, but quite frankly, some of them, like Elon, he's done some incredible things over the years, and so he doesn't have a whole lot of stuff, right? He just he's an exceptional bird. Maybe why he's the richest man in the world, right? Because he's fearless. So where do I come down on this? I come down on this is that I don't need to know the narrative. I really don't need to. I don't need to trouble myself with that. Because there were a whole bunch of people tonight that think silver's going to do this and think silver's going to do that. And I was curious. But I just have to trade the money flow. Let them argue it out. Let them fight it out. I'll just come in here with my little bitty, my little bitty leverage, little bit, and I'll just trade the money flow. And I'll extract the cash flow. And then I could choose to shut down. I'm going to keep running, I'm going to let you watch. But if I stopped right now, I have $8,000 in my pocket from 6 p.m. It's mine. I'm not doing it for anyone else. We are, though, providing the tools for everyone else. Our annual members get this, and we have, this is just one tool, right? Because Susie said to me, over the weekend, Don, what are we going to run next week? What are you going to run? And I said, well, we usually been running the NQ. The NQ is doing pretty well too tonight. We run multiple markets, but I said I really want to run, now that silver, the fever has broken on silver, and there's going to be this consternation and this angst. They're going to be bull and bear. They're going to be fighting it. That's just what I want, right? I want that volatility, and then I just put the programs on it and I extract that cash flow. That's a beautiful thing. And then we can take these dollars, and I don't know if you can go down the store and get silver, any real silver. Probably would have been better to do that a year ago. And you may be looking, well, wait a minute, Don, look at silver. The 5-minute swing machine is down 17 grand. It is, because it can't establish. After the devastation on Friday, it's having a hard time establishing a trend. So that wouldn't be a good program to be running, at least on a 5-minute, maybe on a 1-minute. But let's just take a quick peek so you can see, even on a 1-minute, she's trying to get long. But the daily on silver is still intact. Okay, the daily was 176 days ago. And yeah, you'd be up 240, but you were up you were up almost 400,000 before Friday's action, right? So it dipped, and on a daily it's just a dip, but it's leveraged, and that kind of volatility, that kind of would hurt, But that's why we were saying in our live sessions on Tuesday, Wednesday, I was like, please take some profits, kids. Please take some profits, for the person that isn't a real active trader, because we could see, we've done this a few times. Does that make sense? All right. So we're going to let you watch. And she's doing a really, really nice job. Beautiful. This is let me see if I can, here it is. So this is our tool. This is point and figure trend text. Tells us if we're in a downtrend or an uptrend. This is the posture text. This is the point and figure golf ball. I don't have
Order filled.
the brick size here. She just reversed and went long here. So we're now to the good 8,228. And that's a beautiful thing. And with this type of profit, we're going to probably let you watch into the evening. Will I run overnight? I probably won't. I'm not going to be that greedy. We'll get up early and let it run again. And then what we try to do is start our week early, start our days early, and try to end our week early and end our days early. We trade multiple markets. We have multiple accounts. And Susan trades as well. We do trade stocks. We just don't trade. We don't set out to trade them intraday or intra-evening, and they're not even open. We do trade options. Usually, we're trading on a swing basis. And do we invest? Yeah, we do invest. We're not terribly invested in too much right here, right now. Okay, so she's coming back up. Let's take a look while this is going on. Let's just slide over and look at this is nice. I didn't mean to block this out, but we dress up the other screen. So this is what Swing Machine is doing with the ES. She's down 35 handles. The NASDAQ is down 213. The Dow is down 93. The Russell's down 13. Here's silver. She's up 5, and gold is down 17. We'll slide you back over here so you can see this. And so we're kind of just getting in a little bit of oscillation. We'll let you watch, and beautiful stuff. I hope it's warm wherever you are. I gotta tell you, man, it is cold in Tampa Bay. We had a freeze overnight. We're gonna have a freeze again. We got the fireplaces going. The golden retrievers, happy as can be. They are happy dogs. I mean, they were at the park a couple of times today. They'd still be there. They just if there was snow on the ground, I mean they would be. They'd be plowing in the snow. They roll in the grass. They just love it. The cat, um, we have the house fairly warm, and but she's got her sweater on. She's not so crazy about it. She's not an outdoor cat, but she'll go out on the lanai. I was joking about it earlier. I was talking with a family member, and um, I said, "How's the cat doing?" I said, "Well, she wanted to go out on the lanai." So Susan's like, "Do I let her out?" Because it was cold this morning. Yeah, let her out. We let her out. Tucson high was 79. Oh my goodness. Well, that's nice. 79. We let the cat out on the lanai, and I'm like, she won't be out there 5 minutes. She wasn't out there 2 minutes. So get my ass in. It was cold. Yeah, so we had a freeze. It got as high. I don't even know if it hit 60 today. I don't think it did. That's beautiful in Tucson. It won't stick around, but we're gonna have another freeze tonight. And in Florida, as you've been hearing, had some snow flurries. And so brrr.
Order
We got a lot of
filled.
family. Susan does, I do, up in the Northeast. And boy, those guys is cold, man. Brrr, cold. We will not play golf here. If it's below 70, we don't play golf. Too cold. Too cold. So this is a beautiful thing. So this is a little bit different. And again, we're not trading swing machine here. When I have a real volatile market, we love point and figure. We love Rinko. We trade Kagis. We trade range bars. We have probably 65 to 70 proprietary tools. We got some. We're always working on them. These are radars, show me studies, paint bars, and full blown trading robots. And but I just thought I would just come at this with a what we call point and figure classic. So, any questions? You let us know. We'll let you
Order
watch. I've got
filled.
to step out here, and I got to put the plants to bed outside. Last night they kind of blew off. It was so windy, so I got to get out there and take on the cold and cover the plants a little bit. So I'll be out of pocket for about 10 or 15 minutes. I don't think it'll take me much longer. And hopefully we don't want to give back too much here, right? So, yeah, I think it's great that you trade range bars. I need to do more. We have members that that love range bars. We have programs for range bars. Mathematically, range bars are probably mathematically the most accurate. So if you are trading them, I think that's a good thing. Yep, they are. There's reasons for it, but mathematically, they're the most accurate you could be trading.
Order filled.
Okay, we took a little hit there. Thank you much. I have been following you for over a year. Oh well, that's well, welcome. Thank you. I recognize. I think ultrasound because of I'm not I'm not from Wall Street, right? I have contempt. There's nobody has more contempt for them than I do. And I'm not from Medicine Avenue, but I spend all my time with surgeons, so I seem to recognize the ultrasound name. Yeah, we've been doing this a long time. Um, it's just I really look forward to Sunday nights. By the end of the week, I'm tired, but it's a good tired, and I love my Saturday mornings to get caught up, and then I just can't wait to get going. And it's just at this point, it's just just in my blood. I think it always was in my blood. We just didn't have the technology um, before 2000. So we really started doing this in earnest, not stock market caddy, right? But trading our own capital in an active fashion, Susan and I, in the early 2000s. Now, the brokers and the financial advisors that we had did not want us to do that. They don't like that. And we didn't fire them all at once, but we did gradually. You got to ease away and and just never look back. Stock Market Caddy didn't come out of the ground until 2012. I love them because how easy to see short-term high. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. We do have tools to read candles too. We have radars to read candles, um, especially for stocks, right? And there was a beautiful silver candle, 2 or 3 days before the crack. You all saw it. Probably saw that inverted hammer. It was warning, um, you know, but we don't use them so much for futures trading. But we have it. Then we even have some tools. We mentioned the swing points. We got some beautiful tools for identifying the swing points. Also, too.
Order filled.
Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a whipsaw here, a little bit. That's okay. Let's see if we got silver on a daily. Well, we can come over here. Let's look here. All right, so this is good because we are short the ES in a big way. So this blackness that you see here, that's because of what I do is I try to clean up the screen, right? I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just trying to clean up the screen so it looks better than you have too much shit on it. But for folks that are passing by, so that's why that's black there. But look at the 5 minute. All right. So as we come across, this is Swing Machine here. So this is a fantastic tool to be trading alongside whatever it is you're doing with your range bars. But watch what we can do, right? We can slide over. So I have to reduce down. Now I have a big screen, but I have to reduce it down to 1080p. But then here's that pivot information, right? So there it is. And it's right here, all right in front of us. This gives us the daily pivot. And we would have known this before the markets opened today. So the daily pivot is 69.59. And she's below her S1, which is 69.23. S2 is going to be 68.81. S3 is going to be 68.04. And that can be really, really helpful if you have that information right at your fingertips, right there. You don't have to go to a chart. If we have them on charts, you can get them on charts. But it's nice to have those numbers right there. But where are we on a weekly? Right? And so then that always defaults to a daily. So although we're on a 5 minute, it's showing us the daily pivots. If we want to see the weekly, we would come in here and need to change this to weekly. And let's go look at the weekly pivot. So the weekly pivot is 69.62. And we're more or less probably right on it. So we could go down to 68.82, 67.98. I would take that this week with the shorts that we got on. That would be a nice payday this week. We'd head on down to 6,800. Where are we though? So the pivot is 69. The weekly is 69.62. Where are we? 69.25. We're not yet on the S1. Does that make sense? So it's right there. Let's see. I use cumulative volume, delta indicator, and total volume printed for each bar to see shifts in aggressive buying. That's okay. If it's working for you, I do like the idea of auto trading bots. Yeah. I get it. We have folks that are like market profile. We have some things around market profile. We're working on some things there. I'm just not a big believer in volume, kids. I'm just not. That's just me. But maybe I should, right? So the other piece is, just so that you know, and I'll put this back to a 5 minute. This is what I love about Stock Market Caddy is not everything is flowing out from me to you. We will have folks like maybe DC here from Tucson, maybe. I think he's from Tucson. Um, and he'll say, "Hey, I like to do this. I like to do that." And Don, can you build something? And we will. And the next thing you know, we're all doing a little something, you know. And so we get a lot of information coming back the other way. And so I always keep an open. So please always know that I'm not dictatorial. I'm not saying that you know, only do this or only do that. I don't. No. I mean, and we even to this day, you would think even off of Swing Machine, there are different ways to trade Swing Machine, and and we have folks doing it in different fashions, and you can do it, doing counter trend trading. So as a member to Stock Market Caddy, as an annual membership, so you get all the tools, but we also will, if you have an idea, you have a concept that you can write out in English, we will do our level best to program it. We can do back testing on it, forward testing on it. The only thing is, though, that I especially okay. And then she just took another little profit there, and took herself short. I don't have and we don't charge for that, right? But some of these things can really be time consuming. So I don't have a deadline, right? So you can't say, "Hey Don, I need this like tomorrow." Probably not going to happen. But what does happen though, if I really really like the idea, so if DC says, "Hey, I like to do this, volume thing, and I like to do this," and it's like, and it intrigues me, then Susan and I will both go to work on it, and I'll go to work on it as soon as I can, because I also want to be able to trade it, and and everyone else would too. Now, what we do though is when we do develop something new, we give it a beta moniker, a beta, and we have members that say, "Hey Don, anything beta we want." We have other members that say, "No, I'll wait." So something may stay in beta for 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months, and not really pass muster. It turns out not to be as good as we thought, and it'll just stay in beta for the folks that had it, and we don't throw anything away. If it passes beta, if it passes muster, then it will go into our library, and then we'll go out to everybody, and everyone gets it. So you don't have to pay for that, but everyone gets it. The coding is encrypted and is our intellectual property, because that is, and I know with AI you can do some things, but even still, you've got to you got to have some coding skill and to do these things, and that's our intellectual property, and that's and I rely on Susie in a big way.
Filled.
Okay, so we're still getting a little. So we're off of a high water mark here, but we're still off to a very nice start here of the week. That makes sense. But it's fun. It makes it interesting. And then sometimes, and I have had members say, like, "Don, why do you keep working on things? Like, why don't you just?" Well, I don't know. It's just fun, right? It's just fun. There's different ways to doing it, and so that's just what we'll always be doing. But you don't have to use everything. You may only have like 2 or 3 things that you like to use. And this might be the one program that we run all week on this particular program. And we might stay with this for weeks on end. We might. As long as it's, performing in line with the model. Makes sense? That's what we're about. And in the meantime, I'll be watching this tonight later. It'll be quiet. And I don't have my headphones on, and I'll be listening to Peter Schiff talk about gold and silver. And I like Peter, and I love the conversation, and I am bullish gold and silver, but it's just like, it's just not, how we trade it. We do have members that did on a daily basis, speaking of silver while we're here, that had gotten along silver in a big way underneath 25. They did it with IRA accounts, Roth IRAs, they did it with futures contracts. But, we were suggesting as best we could, like, kids, you gotta start booking some of those profits, right? And for the most part, everybody did. That pullback. We made a video on that pullback, so I won't repeat it. That happened on Friday. That was normal. That was going to happen, right? Everyone, and you could see exactly where it was going to happen. And so now, silver's going to need to, and you'll see it in that video. The best thing is if you're bullish, gold and silver, and I still am. I still think that silver's going higher, but it's going to need to form some sort of point and figure structure over. It should, if you really want it to go again, over weeks, maybe months, and then break out again, and then try to make a run back up to that one. What'll be that high at 122. And could it do that and take it out? Yes. I think the best way to see that type of price action, though, would be maybe using range bars but in particular, point and figure. I think point and figure, for commodities, and when you stop and think about it,
Order filled.
stocks are commodities as well. Sorry, so we just took another little punch there. Now we could be scalping, right? We could be like, if you're watching this, and this is a micro, this isn't a mini. It's up 435. I could go in and pick it off, right? I could. You could too. I would have to reset the program. I'm choosing not to. But you could. You could be doing that. If you are listening to us or hearing this later at a later date, right? So we have members now all over. I mean, we don't have hundreds of thousands. We never will, but we have members in Europe and Canada and all over. The first question that you would, if you have any interest in connecting with us as an annual member, is can you get TradeStation, the same version that we have here in the States, the 10.0. Now I know they got a new platform. I haven't even had the time to take a peek at it, but I'm not one to jump on anything like that's too new, which I won't. Right? I'll look at it, but I'm not jumping at it. I mean, this particular platform, the 10.0, has been around for years and years and years, and it's just so good. So. But ideally you can get access to the same platform that we have. That would be the question you'd want to know. Now you don't have to automate, right? You don't have to. We will, by the way, you can register for the CME challenge. There's going to be a CME challenge. I think it's next week. I don't think it's tonight. I think it was next week. We registered for it. The last one, we were away on vacation, so we didn't play. But the one before that, we did. And there were 2,300 traders. We couldn't automate because we have to go through the CME platform. So we had to do it mechanically. We only traded 18 times. And out of 2,300 traders, we finished number 6. And that was our best finish. We had another one where we finished 7. We were number 2 at about 5 in the morning. It's a week-long contest. And so we're consistently in those challenges. We're consistently in the they gave us a little bit of prize money too. They used to only give you prize money for the top 3, so we made a little bit of like $100 or something. But we are out to win it. I do want to win the thing. And it's on the up and up. I mean, everyone's got to compete, and and they're good traders, but we only traded, which I'd like to get some kudos for it or some bonus points because, some of the other people traded, 300-400 times. I don't know how they did that manually, Robotically, no problem, but manually, that's a lot, unless they had a team of people. But we only traded, when we finished sixth, which was the month of December, we only traded 18 times. Okay, so this, you can see the golf ball just doing its
Order
thing. There it
filled.
is. It just took another profit. So we also have another, we got a number of programs on Point and Figure. So I have another program that is running on an alternate screen. It's not actually putting the trades in, but I'm watching it, and we may move to that program on silver before the week is over on Point and Figure. It's doing pretty well too. Doesn't trade as fast or as much. All right. I
Order
should brush
filled.
up on analyzing, yeah, P and F. Yep. And she's breaking down again. This is really good. Now there's other things that we have that we could put on the screen. I just don't want to overdo it here, and you don't want to get paralysis. What we like to do is whatever you're doing. Like if you have range bars, we like to have our tool up here picking up the longer trend, over here
Order
picking
filled.
up whatever it is, the immediacy. Then we might use a brick value over here, and then divergence, right? We do have a divergence tool that will populate the lower corner. So we like to keep the screen relatively clean, and have the four corners speaking to us in English, what's taking place. And then, of course, keeping Swing Machine up in front of us so we can see it. Okay, so she's just gone long here again. But I haven't put in a single trade, right? And I can, with a push of a button, let's go see what we've done here. I can go to TradeStation, and let me go do this. Trade Manager Analysis. Let's get the report. Let's generate a report. So we've come back, right? We did have a profit factor of 4 point something. Our profit factor now is 1.96. So we're making $2 for every dollar expended. So we've come back. Over the last couple of months, the profit factor, if you ran it morning, noon, and night, was around 1.24, which is narrow. But if a machine is doing it, as long as you're making money. But right now we're running, pretty comfortably at basically 2. How many trades have we had since 6? We've had 27 trades, and our percent profitable is 48%, which is just fine, And that's a beautiful thing. Love doing this. Love showing it. And so we thank you for the like buttons. We thank you for the retweets. We don't come up live all the time, right? As long as
Order
the
filled.
money keeps flowing in more than out, yeah, yeah. Now, if you're manually, you're right, DC. Like if you're manually got your hand on the mouse, and you're making every decision to go in and out, and you're running a profit factor of 1.24, it's going to be a grind. That's going to be, you're gonna even me. I'm going to feel what a tough day. I'm going to be exhausted. That would be a bit of a grind. If a machine is doing it, and and the executions are good, and it's coming in, fine. I don't really care. The grind sucks, yeah. So if I'm manually trading, so I would never, like this thing has traded 27 times since 6 p.m. I would never do that manually. No way. No way. If I'm trading manually on a given day, for whatever reason, I'm not running a robot, I'm not, and some days, you still need to do that, right? You still need to trade manually. Um, ideally, I am trading not more than, 5 times. Sometimes I might go to 10, very, very rarely over that. Um, but usually, about 5 times. And I would like to have, don't always do it, I'd like to have a profit factor on a given day to be over 3, over 3 if it's, you know, but that can vary. Now we have members, and so we track performances and we teach everyone to track your profit factor. It's pretty simple to do. There are other ways to do it, but we think that's the most honest way to give you, a gut check on how your trading is. If you don't have a profit factor, you're not tracking it, then we don't think, you can get a real good understanding of what it is you're doing and how well you're doing. But we have had folks, it's simply gross profit divided by gross loss, and it'll tell you how many dollars you're making for every dollar you expend. And so, we've had members have profit factors for a week in excess of 90 or 100 in a week. So, if you understand what a profit factor is, if they lost $100, if that was their gross loss, then they would have made 9 grand. If they had a gross loss of 1,000,
Order filled.
then their gross profit would have been 90,000. Right? Yeah. Excess. So, I just ask folks. Sometimes they'll tell me. Sometimes members will tell me the money. For the most part, I'd rather not know, as I tell them I don't want them to bum me out, because some of them trade very big, and and I don't want to be bummed out, you know, with my paltry whatever, you know. But as long as you're getting it done, as long as it's you're moving forward, capturing ground, holding ground. We won't hold your high water mark. You won't. No more than we will do it tonight, right? I don't know if we're going to get back up there. Um, I think we should, but I'm just here to make sure that the power doesn't go out, and we got battery back up enough so that I can get out of here if I had to and shut things down. Make sense? All right. DC, thank you for your questions, and ultrasound as well. We're ready when you are. There's no rush. The whole membership thing is, if you stop and think about it, we really do slow it down, right? The monthly membership is month to month. The annual is a very slow, we want to spend those few weeks with you. We will learn from you, and you will learn from us. We're deliberately trying to slow it down. We're trying to get folks to get to a place where, if they don't want to go forward, they can say, no, I don't want to do this. And so that's, but the vast majority, it is something they want to do. Right? So you be with me one-on-one, not every minute of every day, but with me every day during your Q school. And you'll and hopefully you have TradeStation then, and you'll have the programs. You'll be running them. We'll be getting them to you piecemeal. It has a flow to it. We are working on some new things, some new approaches. Now this is a beautiful thing, right? So this could be the one that really, really nice. And I don't know if you've noticed, these are changing dynamically, right? I'm not changing them. They're doing it. This is a point and figure uptrend now. Offense. We have a lot of folks with Ninja Trader. Um, yeah. So, yeah, I would, and I think Ninja Trader's a lot of former TradeStation people too. So I don't have Ninja Trader. One day I probably will. The issue that we have is the script writing is very similar. It's very similar to TradeStation. They don't have radar screen. There are some things that we have that they don't. There may be a few that they have. I would never talk bad about anybody, but we do have a lot of our members have both TradeStation and Ninja, have both, which is fine, right? We also have some others too that I won't mention the company, but like we trade all of our options on a different. Now all of our signals come from our platform here at TradeStation, but but and maybe we should trade our options at TradeStation, and probably will, but at the moment we don't. I think it's good to have, you know, I think if you have the capital and you have the time and you have the to have some different platforms. Um, for me though, TradeStation is is my primary. So again, if you're thinking about this, I don't like breaking it down like day by day, right? Because I don't know, I just don't like doing that necessarily. But um, if you have, there are 24 possible trading days in a month. So let's not work every day. Let's take Fridays off, right? So you start on Sunday nights, take Fridays off, and now you're down to 20. If you're netting $100 a day, netting, then it's 2 grand a month. So if you're starting out and you're just starting out doing this, do you have the patience and the discipline to do that month after month for several months to really learn and build up your war chest a little bit? And then you don't really change anything. You might change markets, you might change strategies a little bit. You might start trading range bars. You might start changing or trading point and figure. You might do a little of this, a little of that. You might, and then you increase the margin just a little bit, and then a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. But you continue with the same process. You're not trying to get your account to 50,000 or
Order
40,000
filled.
and then like, okay, now I'm going to change. I'm going to do everything different, or I'm going to put it all on one nut or something like that. That's not what we're doing. And I don't suggest anybody do that. Um, it's not what we teach. We want it to be repetitive, rinse, repeat, and then you start out with that. It doesn't take long. The biggest concern I'm going to have is you're going to put together 20 days, and you wind up making $1,000 a day. And you're like, okay, now I'm going to start making five. So and you start increasing leverage too fast, too soon, which you don't need to do. Um, that would be one of the bigger concerns I would have, do have, and just go slow and have 5 to 7 ideally. Ideally, I know DC said he's trading primarily MES, but I think if you can have 5 to 7 markets that you can go to. So we will keep one view here. We won't be moving from market to market. We'll probably stay with the silver micro all week. Normally it's the NQ, but we're getting so much volatility now in silver. It's like, hey, let's do it. Let's do that. And so we probably we'll stay right here on the one view. But now I have had folks that'll call and they'll say something like, Well, Don, I need and I want to be making, $500 a day. Okay, I'll say, and that's okay. 20 days. That's nice. $10,000 a month, 120 grand a year. Okay, I'm okay with that. However, then I'll say, are you okay if you lose $500 in a day? Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm like, well, why not? Well, I only got $5,000 on my account, and if I
Order
lose
filled.
$500, that would be 10%, and if I do, two or three, I could be cut in half. Exactly. Exactly. So we spend quite a bit of time, again, in Q school. I don't need to know anyone's financial picture. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. We can talk about it in which we do in theory and in examples of properly sizing and using leverage properly and proportionately as you learn and as you build into it. Because a person could have $250,000 in their trading account and still be undercapitalized if they use all the rope, to hang themselves, right? I mean, you're just using too much. This micro that we're using, the initial capital is 9 grand. The maintenance around eight. It's fine. It's fine for what we're doing. Make sense? All right. I gotta cover the plants, and but I'll be back. Any questions? Let us know, and I'll be back.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
Holy crap. It is chilly. What is the temperature out there? Man, I wasn't out there too long. Um, Fortunately, last night what was I gonna say? The wind was up, so we would cover the plants. And it was blowing like 30. It was pretty tough because it was so windy. But the wind is down. But let me tell you what the temperature is here. Really chilly for us. Let's see. It feels like, yeah, I was going to say it feels like 35. It's 35 degrees for us. Holy crap. That's cold. Um, what is the, what is going to be the hourly temps? What are we getting down to? So we have to run the pool so the pipes don't freeze, God forbid, on the pool. So, yeah, wow. So, shit. Yeah, we're going to be at midnight. We're going to be below freezing. It's going to be worse than last night. And forecasting by 5 a.m., 29 degrees. Crap. That's cold. Definitely the coldest year for us. Coldest overnight yet. Ay vey. What is Tuesday going to be like? Jesus.
Order filled.
Okay, by noon it'll be up to 60. Wow. All I can think is I can't imagine what it's like in other parts of the country. Dangerously, not for us. I'm not, but for those guys. So stay warm. Tucson 79. I've never been to Tucson. Never been. Um, it's Tucson, Arizona, right? Been to Scottsdale. Been to is it Arizona? What is the Red Rocks? Where is that, Arizona or is that Nevada? No, that's Arizona. Been to Reno, Nevada, because we used to ski Heavenly and then run over to the casinos in Reno. Heavenly Valley was in Lake Tahoe, but what are the Red Rocks? Is in Sedona. Sedona. I think that's Arizona, right? Flagstaff on the way up to Flagstaff. Gorgeous. Played a golf course up there in Sedona. It's beautiful. Really, really nice. But I never got to Tucson. So the tool was telling us Red Rocks is outside. No, Red Rocks. Yeah, Red Rocks. No, I was thinking of the Red Rocks. It's Sedona. Sedona. Yeah, you got the Red Rocks. Yeah, with that. I've never even been. I mean, I've been to Denver, but I think they have that. That pavilion that they play at. I was just calling Sedona the Red Rocks, right? They're all got that pinkish hue to them. Yeah, Sedona. And some gorgeous golf courses in Colorado. Oh man, um, played Beaver Creek bunch of times. Very very nice resort course, but very very nice. Another one called Cordillera. Cordillera. I'd love to live in Sedona. Yeah, Flagstaff was a very nice place, and they got skiing up there too, right? On the way up. Flagstaff was a very, very nice town. I could live in Flagstaff. Easy. And, but in Colorado, some of the golf Cordillera mountain courses just love. Um, and then trying to think if I played. Yeah, there was another course. They call it in the Four Corners of Colorado. Um, Cannot think of that name because you've got it's Colorado. I think what Arizona, Nevada. I don't know. It's like they call them the Four Corners. Not Telluride, but I can't think of that name of that town. Gorgeous, gorgeous golf. So we're holding our own here right now, and if she breaks one way or the other in a big way, we'll be on it, right? We'll be on it. I haven't intervened at all. This is all just letting the machine do it. Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and exactly. I remember we went into Utah, which was like what do they call it, Moab, right? And then I don't know if it was in Arizona or New Mexico where they had the cliff dwellings, right? DC. What is that? It's so many years ago. That was something to see. I forget the name of the tribe, and they built their homes into the rock faces. It's really incredible. Mesa Verde. Correct. Mesa Verde. Is that Arizona or is that New Mexico? Mesa Verde. Susan loved that. Colorado. So Colorado. I'm trying to think of the town. Um,
Order
I can't
filled.
think of the golf course that it had, and a lot of blind par fours. There was a very small town, very close in the Four Corners there. I can't think of what that name of that town was, and they had a beautiful, beautiful golf course there. Like I say, it was kind of like in a valley of sorts, so it was like a lot of blind par fours. Beautiful, beautiful part of the country. We don't do as much traveling um, these days as we did back then. Um, yeah, we had small dogs back then, and I didn't think anything of putting them into the kennel and like, hey, we just travel. But today we have golden retrievers. I can't put them into a kennel. Yeah, they're just too smart. I couldn't do it to them. I can't even do it for a night, single night. Not, if we don't have to. I don't think these two Goldens have never been in a kennel. I should probably feel the same way about the cat, but I don't. We get somebody to come to the house for the cat, but but the Goldens, I mean, they're with us. They're with me all the time with Susan too. So I can't put them in a kennel. Let's take a look at the overall markets. We'll slide back while we're doing this. And so we get the ES down 45, it's down to 69.19. And we got the NQ. You want to look at these markets on a point and figure chart too. The bigger point and figure, they're doing something. They're forming up at the highs. They're forming what appears to be like these, what they call like a megaphone. It's not a triangle, but just an expansion. And I, my interpretation of that is it's an exhaustion up at the highs. So we really think that they're going to break here real soon. We have other tools that have the market short. In fact, oh shoot, I don't still have it here on this screen, but we got a short signal on the indices back on I think it was last Tuesday, and I can tell you exactly. And we have so many other. By the way, DC, we have another tool which in the days ahead will show everybody. It's a radar, and it can help us size the range bars depending upon what market you're using. Sizing the range bars, sizing the point and figure and the Renko of using any of those is critically important, and we have a tool to do that, and that's what we used here to get these things properly sized for the market that we're in. The timing model that we use, let me go get it or go look at it, is it's called the Nicholas, and it went short all four indices on the 27th. I mean, I can bring this in and show you. Bear with me. Here, let me just bring it over. Okay, so do you see the first four Nicholas timing model? That's the Dow, the Russell, the Nasdaq, the E, and then the VIX. And do you see that? And then they all went short.
Order
see
filled.
They went short on the 27th and then confirmed on the 28th when the VIX went long. And that's how much they're up. If you took them, that's the Dow. Yeah. So you're up, it's turned into a nice trade. Let me get this out of the way. The Nicholas timing model is an algorithm. There is absolutely nothing to see on a chart. There's nothing. But I can tell you how it works. It takes the data of the underlying indices. It takes the data of the VIX, and it takes the data of the 10-year Treasury yield. And it compresses it into a math model, and it makes a decision to buy or sell based on a daily signal, not intraday, daily. And it's phenomenal. Now, today, to get short or long all four indices would take quite a bit of capital. It wasn't always that case, but if you were to do it with a mini, it would take quite a bit of capital for overnight. So we have members that will use micros. We have members that will use options, right? Or just use one market, just go after one market, like the Dow or like the ES. Or they might, was a quick move there. They might use options. Or they might just use it as a barometer as to what side of the market they might want to start playing. So if the Nicholas is long and they're going after options, on the S&P, they might go 8 or 9, longs versus, out of 10. If the Nicholas is short, then, they might go half and half. There's always a bias, to the long side, with the options. But, and when it comes to options, our favorite option construction is spreads, credit spreads. Call credit spreads and put credit spreads. That's what we like to do. Susan loves those things. I do too. Does that make sense? All right. So, but I don't have all of our workspaces set up here. We'll get caught up here overnight. Whoops. This new Windows is kind of goofy. Let's see here. How often would one change the size of the? Oh, that's a great question. I have never considered that. Would it parallel changes? It absolutely does. Yeah, it does. Yep, yep. So generally, that's a great question. Um, we will look at the sizing usually on the weekend for the coming week. We don't change it from day to day, but we will change it maybe from week to week. The other piece is, and it is based on volatility, right? It is. Um, and the other piece is, I don't want to give anyone, I wouldn't want to give you the impression that, and the tool is very good. Let me see if I can pull it into view here. Let me ask. It isn't that the brick size, we call it a brick size calculator. It isn't that it's going to make you successful in and of itself. Um, but it will, if you use it, it will make you consistent. And let me just see if I can find it here. Hmm. Here it is. Okay, so I'll just slide this over. It's gonna, you can't see the whole thing, but you get the idea. So this is a radar. You can see it. So it's SMC brick box range bar dynamic calculator, right? So if you're an intraday trader, your brick size for the ES is $8.30, roughly $8 a brick intraday. If you're a daily swing trader, it would be 41. If you're an investor, it would be 83. Silver. So see silver right down here. Right here is silver. So our brick size, it was recommended to be 9 cents. I set it at 10 intraday. That's where we got it. So, and these are the others. Now the NQ, notice the NQ is 30 points intraday. 30. Dow 39. Russell 3. Quite a bit. We have seen the NQ get as low as 7 or 8 intraday. The mistake that people make is they size the bricks, the boxes, the range bars on the amount of money they want to not lose or make. And that's a mistake in our view. It's just definitely a mistake. The market doesn't care. So the other piece to it is that brick in box size. Oops. You okay, Sue? Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So how do we use it? Um, and by the way, I could grab this, right? I could. I'm not going to. we're just going to let this trade play itself out, is what we suggest to folks to do is if you're trading silver and over a period of time you find that the brick size that the calculator is giving you is maybe a little bit too small or a little bit too big that you're thinking, and so you decide, and it can affect the speed of the trading. So you decide to increase it by 30%. That's okay. We'd be like, that's okay to do. It's just that you want to make a note of that in your trading journal so that if the next week it says the appropriate box size is 20 cents and you've been increasing it by 30, you would do the same thing. You would increase it by 30%. So the idea is that it's going to be making adjustments based on the volatility of that particular market, and then you just keep applying the same metric, and then you want to keep your trading consistent from week in to week out. That's the idea. But if folks start, and this is what they do, right? They learn how to use Renko, they learn how to use point and figure or range bars, and then they size them based on the amount of money. Well, that's just not going to work because that could be too loose or too big, and for whatever market we're in, and then it could be extremely frustrating. They could be really sloppy and really inconsistent. That makes sense? So we're very, very thoughtful and how we do this. The other thing is, as we're just showing you, we're not showing you very neatly here. We need to get our other workspaces here. It's not like we haven't been doing this a while, but this is another radar that gives us our options club selector, and it'll actually spit out specific option setups mathematically that we should be doing. So it's just a partial glimpse. The reason why I don't have them all set up here is we've changed tools for broadcasting live, and I have everything on wide screens, and to bring it up onto YouTube, it has to be to fit their format, 1980 by whatever, 1080p or whatever. I have to resize everything down to show you on YouTube. So we're going to get caught up on that this week, actually. But so when you're watching on YouTube, if your settings are less than 10, you want to put it at 1080p. Okay, so she just took another profit there. She from here to here, and now hopefully we can get another pop back up. Let's give you a view, or let's go and see where our trading's been. So we've been trading for 4 hours, and I can't tell you. I was covering plants for 15 to 20 minutes. Otherwise, I've been here. Let me go and tell you the
order filled.
Okay, we got a quick reversal there. Shoot. All right, so how many trades have we had? All right, so we're coming back to earth a little bit. Earlier in the night we had a profit factor of 4.4. Profit factor is now 1.58. 1.58. And we've had 40 trades. That's a lot, right? I would never put on that many trades. Wouldn't suggest anybody do that. But the machine's doing it, so I'm totally okay with it. 45% have been winners. 20 shorts, 60%, 20 long. And now what we want to compare it to, now it's just a small sample size, it's only been 4 hours, but this is, let's look at the performance report over the last 2 months, This is the performance report over the last 2 months. Now, please, anyone on YouTube, don't think, okay, I'm going to make 80 grand. Maybe you do. Maybe you do better. Maybe you don't. But this is no guarantee that it's going to do this in the future, right? Whenever you're looking at these. But this is how we use them. We're interested in how are we performing to the model. So the model, even which is remarkable, right? This performance graph, and this particular setup, there's no distortions. It's balls to the wall accurate. This particular one. Some of them have some distortions, but not this one. And this one, so over the last 2 months, that's trading a micro. That's what a person would have made, give or take, if they ran it 24/7. The profit factor is 1.23. Narrow, but it's still getting it done. So we're coming back when earlier in the night we were at 4 point, what was it, 4 point something? It was 4.24, I think. And then we got to 1.98. Now we're at 1.58. So we're coming back. But as long as we stay, we want to stay, in line. And it's up to you. It's up to me, as a
Order
trader. You can
filled.
say, okay, well, I'm starting to deviate from the model and I've run enough. We've been running for 4 hours. Susie, let's shut down. We'll pocket the 6 grand and we'll resume early tomorrow morning. But I'm going to keep going here for a little bit. I love Sunday nights. I love getting started and I love getting off to a good start. I will generally not trade, though, Monday mornings. I'll be here. We'll be doing some things. We'll have positions, some position trades, overnight trades that we have that we'll be monitoring. But I generally won't trade Monday mornings. Just let the market open and get its footing. And I just want to see what I need to see. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
okay. So we're still kind of stuck where we are right now. The market's, not doing a whole lot. At least the silver market isn't. Let's go take a peek. And yeah, we got a nice draw though. Hopefully these markets gap down tomorrow. It's looking good. Now I'm not one. I mean, I'm happy to chat. Look at Bitcoin, huh? Wow, they're getting crushed. Remember when they were saying Bitcoin was digital gold up there at 127? Not so much. Um, but I'm always happy to have conversations about anything around the markets. Um, it's just that I don't want to give anyone the impression that because I might express an opinion about any particular market that I'm necessarily going to trade it in that direction. I frequently don't, right? I mean, even right now, I may be, long term bullish on gold and silver. Although I don't like Friday's action, but I don't think it's going to be amount to much in the long scheme in years. But yet, we might take some shorts. So and I might be bearish equities, but I still might take some longs and will. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm not gonna fight the price action. By the way, this is now generating a rip, right? So this is either downtrend or uptrend, and this will either be offense, defense, dip, or rip as the and so it's in a rip. It's ripping up short from over here, and the downtrend started right here, but right now it's in a rip coming back up. Now these can be traded in and of themselves. I'm just choosing not to, keeping it pretty simple here. And you of course can do this with with any market or all your markets. You might be, you could do it all with range bars or all with point and figure, or you could do a little combination thereof. You know. I think if a person is only trading one market, I think they're putting themselves under some undue stress. However, if you get over seven markets that you're actively trading, it doesn't mean that you're in a trade every single day in all seven, but to us it means that you're prepared to trade them. But if you get over seven, then you put yourself in undue stress. Even with machines, that's quite a few. I mean, we've gone as high as 13, 14, but so this is a beautiful thing. You have to let me know how you guys found us. I don't know if DC's still here. Decal. Um, and the other gentleman, Ultrasound. I don't know. Ultrasound's been following us, he said, for a year. So I don't know how you all found us in the first place, but you have to let us know. We're always curious.
Order filled.
Okay, so this is really nice. I'd love to see this thing rally back up to 82. Wouldn't that be sweet? And maybe break above that right up in here. Now, again, I'm not going to do this manually, right? I mean, I can see it, right? I've done it, thousands, thousands and thousands of times manually. So that's what's nice when you have a machine do it and you're like, oh, okay, I see what it's doing. That'll work. Like, go for it, man. I mean, just go on up there. Now, what I could do, right? Um, I could suspend the machine. I could put it in suspension and just set myself a break even if I think that maybe 79 is the low point. Maybe even risk a point, maybe risk a grand, which I don't think I need to do, and then just let the bitch run and see if I can catch a runner overnight. I will do that fairly frequently. Might do it tonight. I'm not sure. Maybe. And but you could. So there's a whole host of different ways to interact with these trading robots, right? They're like your plays. If you're the coach of a football team, you got different plays that you can run at different times, and you can mix it up a little bit. It don't have to be same thing, looking for the same thing, hitting the same shot. Stay with the golf analogy. You can hit a 7-iron, in a different way. Doesn't always have to be, don't laugh, 155 yards. Maybe it's a little bump and run or something. You can do that sort of thing. All right. I could do that. I'm tempted here. I don't think we have to rush it, but so the machine is actually kind of hitting a high water mark. This is rather remarkable, right? This is a micro. $8,300. 4 hours trading. What is that profit factor here? Let's go get a real-time view on that. We got the plants covered. We got the pool running. She doesn't normally run at night, but it's going to run tonight so the pipes don't freeze. And we're being overly cautious. We're actually going to run a little water through the pipes overnight. I don't think it would ever, God forbid, but they say to do that so they don't freeze. I think we're being a little overly cautious, but house right now is pretty nice and warm. Beautiful. I got to tell you, we had to upgrade our air conditioning when we went with the Trane people. We had Trane. We've always had Trane. Um, Beautiful, beautiful systems. They're really remarkable how they work. Like in the older systems, you would set a thermostat, and like I don't know, you always felt like you were having a monkey with this thing. This thing, like you set it, and it's got like ranges, either a cooling range or heating range. It just never deviates. Like it's what they call variable speed, and it's like knock on wood, kind of like a hands-free thing. Really, you don't even hear the sucker running either. It's a pretty big unit, and it's really nice. Let's Let's go and get this profit factor. You don't hear about my AC stuff, but so I was really curious though, because the unit is only a few years, maybe two years old, and but we haven't really had a chance to run it like in the heating mode because we haven't had to do it much. So I was always kind of like, I wonder if the thing works in heating, and it does. It works really really well. Let me go get this report. So now our profit factor is really in a sweet spot. It's at 1.74. That's really, really good, for a machine. 45 trades, 48%. Wouldn't that, I mean, I got news for you kids. We're going to be running this all week. And so we'll try to look for you. We'll be on. I'll try to keep it up running until maybe 11:30 or so tonight, and then we'll need to go down. But look for us during the week, middle part of the day, live on YouTube. And monthly memberships are unlimited. There's no limit, and you can join anytime. It's $100 a month. You get to see all the algos on a nightly video, and how Nicholas is positioned, what we're looking at. And it's really not my opinion. I'm not looking at moving averages and crap like that. It's just the algos presenting the opportunities as it sees them. And then if you have an interest in getting all the programs, all of them, all 70 of them, you see in a few, only but a handful of them doing this tonight, and you want them on your desktop, then you have to let us know. You do need to go through what we call a Q school for 3+ weeks. We want everyone to do that to make sure that we are who you think we are, that the programs are what you think they are, and you've had a chance to work with them. And then at the end of that Q school, you're guaranteed a spot. And if you want to become an annual member at that point, we're going to give you 30% of the cost of the Q school back to you. And then you get to be an annual member. Your costs never go up. And every year, we'll give you 1 month free going forward toward your lease arrangement, and thereby cutting your costs in half after about 5 years. You actually cut it
Order
cut it way
filled.
down. Okay, so now that's our high water mark. That's a beautiful thing. Look at that. I think I better just leave it alone. I think I just leave it alone. It's doing pretty good. We could be doing some nice scalping here, though. I mean, if you wanted to just grab, $200, $300, and you could just go grab it. Really nice action here. Mhm. So you just let us know. Now, on the annual memberships, though, now it's early in the year for us, but for the last 4 to 5 years, we only issue so many licenses a year, and if we hit that number, then we stop and then resume in January. For the last 4 to 5 years, it's been about that first week of November. And we're off to a good start this year with folks, and so we're probably, just so that everyone knows. So if it gets to be like December or something, you can still join, but you would have to wait until January of the following year. And we have folks that have been with us now for several years. The renewal, after you only do the Q school once, the renewal for all the programs from one year to the next is $3,500. Still need to be a monthly. It's $3,500. However, we have folks, who have been with us for 5 years and more, and so their effective cost is actually half of that, right? Because it's $3,500 for a year and a half. And so they reduce the effective cost, and it works because they become very, very independent, and it just works all the way around. So what we're trying to do is hold your costs fixed to reducing them, not inflating them, reducing them, and increasing your value. So it's a lot different than maybe what other corporate America does, increasing the cost on things. We're not doing that. We're actually decreasing the cost, increasing the value. It's our little, you know, it's our philosophy, and it works. It's working. It works for us. And Stock Market Caddy just continues to grow word of mouth. It's really remarkable. Uh, we have members in Norway. We have members in Belgium. We have members in Germany, Canada, of course, the States, all over the States, from all over now, all over. And we're based in, I say based, our home. Susan and I were in Tampa Bay, beautiful Tampa Bay. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, this is really remarkable, right? I mean, we started out, we could very well crest over $10,000 between 6 p.m. Now, you would think we would have 1,000 people, right? We don't. We never do, and that's totally okay. Let me go and look. And the reason is, let me go look and see how many folks see here. We're down to one. That's okay. You would think there'd be 1,000. No, folks don't want to. They have a. We're reaching out to a very unique select group of folks. This has got to be something you really, really want to do. And so if a person has preconceived notions of what the market is or isn't and all that stuff and all that hang up, it can be really, really hard for them to really, get over that sort of thing, right? And so we don't, like, we live in Florida. I could go to Orlando, so even Tampa Bay, the convention, they got conventions for this, conventions for that, and set up a tabletop display and talk to people. But I choose not to do that because I don't think most people should be doing this. Now that may sound crazy, right? Why would I say such a thing? Because it's got to be something you really, really want to do. I think you got to have the time. I think you got to have the risk capital. I think you got to have their interest. I think you got to be disciplined. And I think that, you need to be able to embrace uncertainty. So let me ask you, do you think that is the majority of people? No. No. That's what I say to Susie. It's like, no, I'm sorry. It isn't. It isn't. They would rather have, which is okay, right? I mean, it's okay, but, one of these bulkers or brokers, they're not going to do this for you. That when they don't even have the skill set themselves. Just not. But people want that, they just think it's, So, in any case, this is a beautiful thing here, kids. I don't know if you can hear water running. I have a bathroom off my office, and so I turned on the sink a little bit. We're gonna let water run through the pipes overnight. I don't think. I mean, the house is warm, so I don't think they would ever freeze. But they tell us we should do that. I think that might be a little overkill, but. And the cat is a little. Just curious. What is the minus 25? Yeah, ultrasound. Good to see you, ultrasound. Plus 1310 in the top left-hand corner. Minus 25. Oh, yeah. This is right up here, minus 25 and 15. So that means the drawdown on that particular trade. So that's just one micro contract, right? It's a micro contract. And currently, at this hour of the evening, and even probably tomorrow, you need to have a minimum of $9,000 in initial capital and then about approximately $8,000 what they call maintenance. They're probably going to stay with that during normal session hours, but when the markets flatten out, they will give you more margin, like on indices and so forth. During periods of high stress or high volatility in any market, they'll reduce it. But the minus 25 means that this one trade that it just put on, so it went in right here, that trade, that's the trade we're in, and it had a drawdown of $25 and it had a run up of 1605, and it's
Order
currently
filled.
well, and then it just took it. So now this trade just had a drawdown of minus 260, minus 420, right? It's a drawdown. It's underwater. You're seeing it here, and you see it now. The numbers up here may not match exactly here. You may pick up a difference, and that's because trust this number here. This tool up here is called a position window at TradeStation, and that updates like every second or two. You can speed it up. This one updates tick for tick. That's the account. So that this one's precise. But so we experience, so in this trade, it's long. It had a maximum drawdown. We almost lost. We had a maximum drawdown of $640, which is significant, but not when we're up as much as we are, right? And so now it's still alive, right? Now this is a right now a pretty fast market and a pretty volatile market, and I'm trading a micro.
Order filled.
If a person is has a smaller account, well, you couldn't trade it if you got to have a minimum of 9. So you want to have fairly sizable account. But the other markets, when you're trading futures and you're trading them during the day, you only have to have a fraction of that capital, right? We're getting a nice sell down here, kids, aren't we? This is really good. It's really good because we also, Susan and I, we were telling everybody, the Nicholas went short last week, and we're short these markets, so it's looking good right now. That makes sense, ultrasound? Are you trading futures right now, ultrasound? You say you've been watching for a year. I'm just curious what you're trading, what type of markets, and I'm happy to answer any questions about futures, and why we trade futures and what we mean by initial margin and maintenance margin and sizing. I'm happy to answer any questions. Happy to do it. So you just let me know. Boy, silver is really, she's struggling, Well, consistent is a is a subjective word, right? So I get it. Um, you're familiar, ultrasound, when we talk about profit factor, right? So when a person comes into our Q school, um, we're going to ask you to trade in
Order filled.
Okay, we just went long. In a simulated environment. We are going to ask you to do that, but we're going to have you tracking your profit factor right from the beginning. And so by the end of the first week, second week, third week, fourth, and sometimes it's 3 plus, weeks, you're gonna, we're gonna, you're gonna know. We're gonna get you, you're gonna get yourself consistent, and you're gonna know how to approach it. Because,
Order
because
filled.
if we're doing this, we have to be doing this to make money, right? We're trading to make money. We're not trying to, this isn't, I mean, and I'm coming from a surgery background and we approach it as if it's surgery, but it isn't brain surgery here. And it's just, we just got to use the tools. You want to get yourself, and you want to get away from, and this is just in general, so I don't be talking at anybody, but getting away from targeting a certain amount of money. Like that's why I'm a little hesitant to say like $100 a day or something. I want to be careful about targeting. I'd rather a person target the profit factor. And so as long as you're get it above one, get 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and you have sometimes, and then like, okay, I'm getting the job done. The money will come. It just will. It just will. It's a byproduct. You can't have a positive profit factor day in and day out, week in and week out, and not make money. So that's where the consistency comes from. I mean, but if you get reckless, get some mad money, and then get reckless, you'll destroy the profit factor if you do that, and then you also lose money, and you can lose significant money, which we don't want to do. We don't want anyone. You're gonna have drawdowns, and we have to size them. Certain markets you'll be able to trade, certain markets you can't, depending upon one account size. You just have to accept that and grow into it. But what was I going to say? We don't. You'll have drawdowns and you'll have losses, but we don't want any negative outliers. So on Friday, there were a lot of people that had huge negative outliers. Not us, and not our members. No, we just don't do it. We want positive outliers, and we can set it up and use the machinery to set up for positive outliers, but no negative outliers. Right? Makes sense? And we'll just set it up. And so, like when the Q School, we're with you, and then we have these segments that we want to convey, and then we send you the program, and then we ask you to do certain things, and then we just kind of take you down the garden path, and you take yourself down.
Order filled.
Okay, so we're gonna let it continue to run, but if we crest over 50, that will have been $10,000 tonight trading a micro. Did I expect that? No, 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 I didn't expect that. So we will, if we do it, we'll be here probably in a moment or two. Then we'll shut down, and I'll slide everything back over to Swing Machine so you can watch Swing Machine up until about 11:30 or so midnight. Yeah, and we're gonna have done that right here. That's remarkable, isn't it? That's didn't expect that, but we're gonna do it. So let me capture this trade. Hopefully, we'll get it on the next one, the next leg up here. Yep, she's coming back. It's a little arbitrary to do this, but that's okay. We'll see if we can get this pop back up. Now this isn't going to be on C. We're not going to be on CNBC, right? This doesn't fit with any of the asset gatherers or all the storytellers and all the other podcasters and everything. That's pretty boring, right? But pretty damn effective, right? And here we go.
Order filled.
Okay, so I just turned it off. Let me give you the numbers, and then we'll slide over to swing. Let me. So we traded. Let me give you some of the stats. Now, I did that manually, but that was the only one I did. So our profit factor was 1.92. We made $1.92 for every dollar we lost. We had 52 trades, 26 longs, 26 shorts. The machine put in every single one. I took out the last one. Percent profitable, 52%. 69% profitable on the short side. So the market, I can't even tell you. I guess it felt like it was under pressure, but I didn't even, wasn't even really looking. Maximum consecutive winning trades, 3. We had 6 losing trades. In a row. So that would have been, if that was the first 6 trades, that could have, and you're over leveraged. And the time in the market, they have us at 3 hours. That seems a little light, but maybe so. Yeah. I think we were in it a little. We started at 6, so no, I take it back. We started. No, I turned this on at 7. Yeah, so it's correct. Right. So there's another. It would have been another winning trade here, but we're done. Right. We're not gonna be that greedy. So let me do this. Answer any other question. No, yeah, no, you're not gonna see this on YouTube anyplace. No, you're not. Yeah, thank you. No, you're not. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. There's nobody doing what we're doing. There really isn't. And this has been years in the making. I'm going to let me clean this up a little bit now so you guys understand what we're doing here, right? So I'm going to clean this up. Yeah, there we go. And yep. So we've suspended the robot, and I should probably make a note, and I'll do it in red, or I'll put it in yellow here. So we just trading, I don't know, suspended is not a right word, maybe. I'm just going to put in off for now. Robot off for now. Robot off for now. So we turned on, I think it was about 7 o'clock. Yeah, I think we had the robot on before we actually got live. But look at some of these trades, will you? Wow, look at this. So here's the 5 minute on swing. So this is our thank you ultrasound. I mean, this is our baby, right? This is like showing the baby, and the lines of code in Swing Machine. You know, there's close to 800 lines of code in this. It's really, really solid. So 815, $2,300. 810, 5 grand. 835, 1,200. 815, 1,300. Gold, that's from Friday. That's going to be from Friday, 320 on Friday. I don't have the date in here, but that's not today. That's going to be from Friday. 22 grand. This is from 9:10 tonight. That's tonight. 20 grand. So, but our program, we did 10. This is with a mini. This is with a mini. We did 10,000 with a micro. Rather remarkable. But thank you. It is what it is, right? And it's when you're trading like this, I can only describe it to you. It's boring. It is boring, and boring is good. Also, when you're trading like this, you'll be leaving money on the table. It'll feel like you're doing it all the time. And you will be. And that's when you know you're trading well. So you just have to have a mature perspective about this. I'm not going to stay up, and just trade all night long. I'm not going to, we have the profit. Tomorrow's another day. We have other markets. We have other trades. It's just what we do. And I just try to describe it. I try to show it real time on YouTube. We went to great pains to try to get away from YouTube has a wicked delay, but we have the technology now to get that down to like about 3 seconds, so you're seeing it. Not that we're trying to hand out the fish, we're not, but we're just trying to show folks who are really going to be hell-bent on wanting to do this, what it looks like. But we're not trying to reach the masses. They probably shouldn't be doing this. Well, in fact, they shouldn't, right? They're just not. You have this. You've been watching us for a year, and so we thank you. We're gonna let you watch, and I gotta do the nightly video for all of our members, annual and monthly members, and so I'll be nearby, and we'll keep this view up on the overall markets up until about midnight, and then we'll turn it down, and we'll look for you. So hopefully midday sometime tomorrow, and later in the week. But now at this point, right, in this one market, we have basically exceeded our weekly goal in 4 or 5 hours. So I don't even have to, on this one market, do any more trading. But one of the things that I will need to do and be mindful of, it's possible that we give some back, right, during the week. But I'm not giving it all back. That's for damn sure. That ain't happening. There's not a chance in hell that I'll let that happen. We don't give it back. We might let a little go back, but none of it, and not all that. No. We capture profits. Any questions, you let us know. Thanks, and we'll be nearby. So again, we're just letting everyone know we have turned the robot off, right? We ran for about 3.5 hours. Profit factor, I think we said was at 1.9. Beautiful. 10,000. Micro silver. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful. You know, have 5 to 7 markets. You know, run, scalp a little, boom, shut down. You know, get a good book, get a good treadmill. You know, have a life. You want to read about politics? Okay. Don't want to do it? Don't. You want to listen to the Peter Schiffs and the podcasters? That's okay. I do. You know, just don't trade off of it. Don't invest off of it. You know, if you have the assets and you want to throw them a little money to manage, okay, I don't have a problem with that. I choose not to do it, but you know, would I be comfortable doing that with someone like Peter Schiff? Yeah, I would. Maybe that guy Gunwatch. Yeah, I probably would be comfortable doing that. I just choose not to do it, and this is looking really, really good, folks. Considering again our Nicholas timing model, you saw it earlier. Our members know this. It threw a short signal. It was on the 26th. It warned, and then on the 28th of January, which was last week, it threw the short signal, like threw the flag, like boom. That's it. Now, and when this happens, right? We never know. We never know how low something is going. We don't. And we never know how high something is going. We don't. We don't. We can have an idea, but we don't. We just, you know, staying with the analogy of the plane on the side of the, you know, once they hose it down and, you know, the fire's out and, you know, and flights resume, then we will get back on our horse and start taking some buy signals, right? If you were around for that earlier analogy. But we'll let you watch. Any questions, you let us know. We thank you for the like buttons. We thank you for stopping by. We thank you for retweeting us. I am more apt to do the YouTube sessions a little bit more frequently. We can't do them as often as we would maybe want to because we have Q schools in the morning, we have Q schools in the afternoon. We're trying to leave the middle part of the day open so that we can create some awareness. Um, but you know, we'll be more apt to do it if we have more people and you know in questions. It's more interesting to me. So, but this was the program that we ran, and it just we came out on that one, and that would have been another big fat trade. So, really looking forward to running that again tomorrow. We'll keep you posted. We can run it on the ES. We can run it on the NQ. We just got to get the right brick size. Got to get the right box size. You know, you can run it on range. You can run on range bars too. You know, we had the gentleman earlier. I don't know if he's still with us, but talking about range bars. Range bars are mathematically the most accurate chart you could use. So we do like it, and I definitely have members that use it a lot and tell me, Don, you should use it more. I kind of like what I like, but I do like bars, range bars. So just got to size them. That's a big part of it. Look at what silver's doing. Holy crap. That's a big, um, hmm, that's a big move. Still taking that bitch down. Mm-mm. If you have long-term profits on this stuff, you've got to lock them in. They're forcing you to. For us trading intraday, intra-evening, and doing this sort of thing, it's just so much easier, right? I mean, we just make our decisions, boom, boom, boom. I mean, we got to be around it more, but trying to manage a portfolio and a portfolio of public monies, which we don't do, but even managing your own portfolio, and if you don't have the tools if you don't have the tools at your fingertips and you don't know how to use those tools, whew, you know, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be very, very rough. Now, this is not. Let me widen this out here. Trying to get this all fit in here. I don't know why I'm so crowded in here. Let's pull that in. Trying to get Euphoria to show up there. There it is. Rob a little space there. There it is. We're gonna gap down in the morning, kids.